Good afternoon to the respected teachers, respected director sir, esteemed guest of honor, and my dear friends. I am Sapna Ingre, student from MSc Part 2, host of today's program, and here I feel privileged to welcome everyone here. I would like very warmly and respectfully to greet the presence of all of you at the webinar session organized by the Noble Chemical Society 2020-21 under the Department of Chemistry, Government Vidarbha Institute of Science and Humanities, Amravati. Moving right along, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest of honor, respected Dr. Bapurao Shingte sir. He is an associate professor in the Department of Chemistry in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He has completed his PhD from Organic Chemistry Synthesis Division, National Chemical Laboratory, University of Pune. And also, he has completed his master's and bachelor's degree from Babasaheb Ambedkar University, Aurangabad. He has an 18 years of research experience and 12 years of teaching experience. He has been awarded Indian Society of Chemists and Biologists, Lucknow, Best Teacher Award in 2018. He has been awarded with the Best Bentham Ambassador Award in 2018-19 and in 2020-21. Also, he has been awarded with Research Professor Award in the year 2017 and Ideal Teacher Award in 2014 from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He has been awarded with the Indo-US Research Fellowship Award in 2013 and also he has been awarded with the Shikshak Pratibha Puraskar in 2012. His current area of research in the synthesis of bioactive compounds and new synthetic methodologies. He has been invited as a resource person in 65 international and national conferences, seminars, and symposiums, as well as in 25 orientation courses. He has taken about 70 plus guest lectures in various universities and colleges. He acted as a keynote speaker and also delivered plenary lectures, guest lectures, addressed in international as well as national reputed conferences, seminars, webinars sponsored by UGC, CSIR, DST. He acted in various administrative authorities of various universities. He has published more than research papers. He acted as a keynote speaker and also delivered plenary lectures, guest lectures addressed in international as well as national reputed conferences, seminars, webinars sponsored by UGC, CSIR, DST. He acted in various administrative authorities of various universities. He has published more than 100 plus research papers and 40 journals of international repute. As the students from Vidarbha region as well as rest of Maharashtra do not know how to learn organic chemistry and how to become master in organic chemistry, and we students need guidance for that. So our beloved respected Dr. Bapurao Shingte sir will guide us today on how to become master in organic chemistry, and tomorrow respected Dr. Bapurao Shingte sir will explore their thoughts on the same time. He will guide us about the opportunities in the field of chemistry and how to study for the competitive exams by affording chemical sciences as a subject. This will increase and update our knowledge in the field of chemical sciences. So, and on the behalf of student of PG as well as UG, I warmly welcome respected Dr. Bapurao Shingte sir.
Very much for nice introduction, Sapna. I'm very much thankful to Dr. Thaide sir for giving me an opportunity to share my views regarding how to become master in organic chemistry in front of you all, my dear students. It's a great day for me. After long time at Amravati, I'm delivering the talk through this online mode. And today I'm going to talk about how to become master in organic chemistry. Even though some of the students, they may have gained their post-graduation in chemistry last year 2020 by your university. Okay, then also, but that degree is by paper. Whether we became really master in that particular subject, the subject may be chemistry, the subject may be botany, the subject may be physics, whatever it may be the subject. Even though your specialization may be different, it may be organic chemistry, inorganic, physical, analytical, industrial, polymer chemistry. Then also whether we became master in that chemistry or not. Accordingly, the topic which I have decided over here, mastering organic chemistry, a challenge, and how to become master in organic chemistry through problem solving approach. These are the mine two lectures are there, and today we will cover whatever the part we will discuss for today, and again we will continue for tomorrow. Fortunately, 100 students can occupy this Google Meet, and so many students are in waiting, but we can't do anything for that one also. Okay, those who have joined early, they can take advantage of this particular lecture. And sorry for some internet issue with me, that's why I am not able to join quickly. Okay. Just I will share my presentation. Yes, whether I am audible and visible both, my slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the first slide, you can see mastering organic chemistry, a problem solving approach, as rightly mentioned by one of our students, Sapna. She has introduced me after completion of my post-graduation from Department of Chemistry, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, in the year 1999. Then I have prepared for NET examination and in the year of 2001, qualified SET and NET under category of JRF, and then I joined for PhD program at India's premier institution, that is National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. And after pursuing PhD degree, meantime I got an opportunity as a faculty position at the Department of Chemistry, the same department where I have learned my post-graduation program. And meantime, I have visited many places of India as well as abroad. Okay. Now our today's task is mastering organic chemistry, a problem solving approach. Before talking on this particular issue, I will give you one equation to you, that is R cube is equal to OS. R cube is equal to OS. See, you will not see in any kind of equation in organic chemistry. Okay, no doubt we have seen several reactions, n number of reactions are there. But the equation available in physics or physical chemistry or mathematics, that type of equations we never seen in organic chemistry. Some part of physico-organic chemistry, we have seen some equations like Hammett equation, that type of equations we have seen, observed. But this equation, this equation is not available at any place. Not only internet resources as well as books, because this equation was created by some of the person, and so far it is not available at any place. But we have to give justice to this particular equation, R cube is equal to OS. What do you mean by this R cube? 3R are there and is equal to OS. And we have to give justice to this particular equation. Before talking to this particular equation, just I want to remind you regarding some of the things, as we know very well, we are studying aromatic aldehydes from 11th standard, or from 12th standard, definitely aldehydes and ketones is there at 11th standard or 12th standard, and then again we are continuing the study of aromatic aldehydes. This particular slide represents one aldehyde can be utilized for many more reactions, named reactions. Okay, one aldehyde. Take an example of benzaldehyde, anisaldehyde, chloraldehyde, toluelaldehyde, whatever it may be the aldehyde. Aromatic aldehyde, it should be aromatic aldehyde. And see that a particular aromatic aldehyde can be used for many reactions. Just I can discuss the reaction, Perkin condensation reaction. As we know, Perkin condensation reaction of aromatic aldehyde with acetic anhydride in presence of sodium acetate, you will get cinnamic acid. See, this particular reaction requires aromatic aldehyde. Another reaction we know, Stowe condensation, Hunt's dihydropyridine synthesis, then Darzel glyceric ester condensation reaction. Based on aldehyde, then Deakin-West reaction, we know very well, which leads to corresponding phenol after reaction with sodium hydroxide and hydrogen peroxide. Then Abramo reaction is nothing but reaction of this aromatic aldehyde with the trialkyl phosphides. You will get hydroxyphosphonate. That reaction is Abramo reaction. Similarly, this aromatic aldehyde is used in Henry reaction, that is nitroaldol condensation reaction. As we know very well, nitroaldol condensation reaction of aromatic aldehydes with nitromethane in presence of base. You will get nitroaldol product. Similarly, in managed reaction, Grignard reaction, as we are studying Grignard reagent from 11th standard, 12th standard, and separate topics are there. Reaction of any Grignard reagent with aldehydes, we will get corresponding alcohols. Okay, then Beckmann rearrangement, you may have studied reaction of aromatic aldehyde with hydroxylamine hydrochloride. It will form oxime derivative and followed by treatment with acid. You will get a cyanide rather than getting any amide, because that is the drawback of Beckmann rearrangement, because Beckmann rearrangement is not possible on aldehydes. Okay, then Betty's base, then Noveller condensation, then Bignili condensation, aldol, Claisen-Schmidt, then benzoin, then Tikhonov, then Wittig reaction, Canizalose reaction, Woogie reaction, Passerny, Reformatsky, etc. Just I have given over here some of the representative reactions where aromatic aldehyde can be used as one of the starting material. Means one molecule have many more applications. And if the question may be asked to you in the university examination, write several reactions related to benzaldehyde, then students are unable to give answer of that question. Just give the names of those reactions, and if you are written 10 minimum names, then you will get 2 marks. Then that type of question is too much difficult, because to remember those reactions. And see, from 11th standard to MSc second year, no one has counted how many reactions we have studied from 11th standard to till date. See, minimum 100 reactions, minimum I am saying, minimum 100 reactions can be studied up to UG level, and in PG you may have learned more than 200 to 300 named reactions, 200 to 300 named reactions. As don't know how many named reactions are there, but you should know about 1000 named reactions, related named reactions. Okay. Definitely our topic is mastering organic chemistry, a challenge, and that challenge we can expect the answer of that particular question, and that problem, mastering organic chemistry, that can be solved through problem solving approach. And before starting the lecture, I used to remember these great personalities of organic chemistry. They are the grandfathers of organic chemistry. As we have seen some of the photographs in our books, the first person, do you know the first person? Who is that first person? He is a great Nobel laureate. He is R.B. Woodward. You may have studied in UV. That is Woodward's rule is there. In UV spectroscopy, or if you may have studied steroids. Steroids, the first steroid is a cholesterol, as everyone knows. That cholesterol was synthesized the first time by Robert B. Woodward in the year of 1928, means around 100 years before he has discovered the synthesis of cholesterol in 58-step synthesis. And see, along with that, they have deduced or they have determined the structure of cholesterol. See, there are 27 carbons are there in cholesterol. 4 rings are there. 3 rings are 6-membered ring. 1 ring is a 5-membered ring, and some side chain is there. And a number of methyl groups. There are 5 methyl groups were there, as well as 1 hydroxyl group, 1 double bond at 5-6 position of that particular steroid. And another important thing is In cholesterol, there are 8 chiral centers. And in the year of 1928, 100 years before around, they have determined the structure of cholesterol. That time, no NMR facility, no single crystal facility. Then also they have determined, means whatever chemistry they have done in the laboratory, just we are reading their chemistry. Just we are reading. Whatever chemistry Woodward have done 100 years before, that chemistry just we are reading over here. And it's a difficult understanding of that chemistry in the 21st century of second or third decade. Okay, that is the first person. Second person, I used to call him, he's a grandfather of organic chemistry. He has given so many things to us. He has synthesized more than 2000 natural products, and many more Indians have pursued their PhD degree as well as a postdoc under his supervision. He's a great Nobel laureate and the first founder of the concept of retrosynthetic analysis. He's a great Nobel laureate, Elias James Corey, E.J. Corey. You may have seen his book, The Logic of Chemical Synthesis, first book written on the retrosynthetic analysis, and the concept first time he was discovered in the year of 1990-91. And in the year of 1995, he has published the first book on the concept retrosynthetic analysis. Again, one more thing I want to tell you, so many reactions discovered by E.J. Corey as well as so many reagents. For example, you may have studying 1,3-diethane ampolon chemistry. That ampolon chemistry was discovered by E.J. Corey. E.J. Corey, ampolon chemistry, 2-lithium-1,3-diethane. That ampolon chemistry, or you may have studied Corey-Winter reaction, Corey-Tchaikovsky reaction. So many reactions are there. Corey-Fuchs reaction, more than 100 name reactions on his name, and more than 100 new reagents he has discovered, and more than 1,000 new molecules that time in the year of 1970s to 1995, or till date he's working in the laboratory at the age of 97 or 98. Then the next person, just for the sake of students' interest, and they should know about the grandfathers of our organic chemistry. That's why I am showing them. See, the third person is a great Nobel laureate again for his contribution in oxidation chemistry. He has received a Nobel Prize. He is nothing but Professor K.V. Sharpless, and we are studying his chemistry, Sharpless asymmetric epoxidation, Sharpless asymmetric dihydroxylation, amino hydroxylation, that type of chemistry we are studying so far, and credit goes to him. Then next person, he has discovered carbon-carbon double bond formation reaction, that is olefination reaction. Olefination reaction, that is alkene formation reaction, we have seen. He is nothing but a great Nobel laureate, that is George Wittig. He's a George Wittig, conversion of carbonyls to alkenes by means of phosphorus halides he has discovered, and he has received a Nobel Prize. Then the next person for his great contribution to carbocation chemistry. Carbocation chemistry is nothing but George Evola, and last year, just 2 years before, he has passed away at the age of 102, 3 something. For his great contribution to carbocation chemistry, he has received a Nobel Prize. The next person, everyone is studying his chemistry, that is the Grignard reagent, and he is the person who have received a Nobel Prize, and he has studied the reactivity of that RMGX, how that R minus can react with several types of electrophiles, several types of electron deficient centers. We have studied reaction of Grignard reagent with carbonyls, particularly aldehydes, ketones, esters, cyanides. Okay, and then reaction with water, alcohols, etc. So many several substrates are there, and that Grignard reagent can be used for the preparation of several other organometallic reagents like organocopper, organozinc, organolithium. Such type of reagents can be prepared from that organomagnesium reagent. This is Victor Grignard. Okay, then some recent discoveries made by one of the great scientists and Nobel laureate. Unfortunately, he has visited several times to India. In the year of 2007, first time he has visited India, and fortunately, I could able to listen his talk at the National Chemical Laboratory in some international conference. He's Robert Grubbs. He's a Grubbs, and in our curriculum, Grubbs metathesis is there. Grubbs olefin metathesis is there. For the year 2006, he has received a Nobel Prize. Then these three people, as we are studying coupling reactions, that is Suzuki, Higgs, Sonagashira, Stille, Ullmann, that type of coupling reactions we are studying, means carbon-carbon bond formation reactions. The first person is a Suzuki, second one is Higgs, and the third one is a Negishi. Suzuki, Higgs, and Negishi, they have discovered some reactions of coupling reaction, carbon-carbon bond formation reaction. Okay, then next person is a B.M. Prost. He is a great natural product chemist, as well as some organometallic chemistry. He has done a lot of work, and in future he may receive the top prize of organic chemistry definitely. Then next person you may have seen his photograph in some of the cover pages of book. Even though we are referring some of the books, but we are not able to understand who is that person. He is nothing but a great teacher, great researcher, Francis A. Carey, and you may are referring the book of Organic Chemistry by F.A. Carey, or another book, Organic Chemistry Part A, Part B by Francis A. Carey. Those books written by this great teacher, Francis A. Carey. Then this person, he has changed the scenario of total synthesis of some natural products. He has written several books, as well as he has discovered several natural products. He is nothing but a Casey Nicolau. And whatever retrosynthetic concept, he has modified that retrosynthetic analysis concept, as well as he has written the books on classics in total synthesis. 3 books he has written, and we are referring those 3 books for post-graduation program, as well as he has written one of the great book of organic chemistry, Molecules That Changed the World. Molecules that changed the world, how those molecules were discovered and how those molecules had changed the scenario of chemistry or peoples. Then the last person belongs to India, even though he's Nobel laureate for us, but he has not received any kind of prize. But he's a real organic chemist, and he has done a lot of work in natural product chemistry. He's nothing but Gordon Mehta. Actually, he has worked a lot in India's premier institution, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Then he has moved to Hyderabad, and again further moved as to Bangalore, and presently he is working as a J.C. Bose National Fellow. Okay, after remembering these great personalities of organic chemistry, then as our task is how to become master in organic chemistry. How to become master in organic chemistry. Okay, the first task I want to give you, I want to tell you, this is my personal opinion, reading of quality books. And the purpose of showing this particular slide along with some photographs of the books, that is important. Reading of quality books written by the quality teachers as well. This is one of the criteria for becoming master in organic chemistry. Reading of quality books. I don't know what kind of books you are referring for your post-graduation program, because after a year or after 6 months you will become master in organic chemistry. Then what kind of books you are referred for becoming master in organic chemistry? Yeah, you should read quality books. These are the reference books. These are the reference books. See, the first book just I am showing over here, it looks like a textbook, and this book was prepared actually for the students of undergraduate in America, but in India this book is used by the PG students as well as the researchers. This book is written by Claydon, Greaves, then Warren, authors, organic chemistry. And if you want to crack competitive examination like NET, SET and GATE, you must have a copy of this book with you. And you should read at least once this book, then only you can understand organic chemistry, and then this will be the one of the step in becoming master in organic chemistry. Then everyone talks about the Advanced Organic Chemistry by Jerry March. No doubt it's difficult to understand this particular book, but if you read many times you will understand that particular book, and whatever mechanism part is there, you can learn that mechanism part from this Jerry March books. Then everyone may have referring these 2 books written by just now I told you that Francis A. Carey, Advanced Organic Chemistry Part A and Part B. You should have a copy of these 2 books because if you want to crack competitive examinations, you should solve many more problems from such kind of books. Okay, then organic chemistry. Then name reactions by G. Jackley. So many, around 3 to 400 name reactions are covered in those two books, as well as again Gijakli have wrote some another book, beautiful book, name reactions based on heterocyclic chemistry, means name reactions for heterocyclic chemistry, because so many name reactions are related to construction of heterocyclic compounds. That's why these two volumes are there, name reactions for heterocyclic chemistry 1 as well as heterocyclic chemistry 2. Okay, if you are not getting such kind of books, then you should have at least soft copy of these kinds of books. And the next one is name reactions, functional group interconvergence. See, just I want to tell you today, organic chemistry is nothing but functional group interconvergence. Organic chemistry is nothing but interconversion of functional group with the help of some reagents. And if you have a library of reagents, then you will become master in organic chemistry. Okay, and to learn those reagents, some of the books may help you while doing the functional group transformation by using specific reagents. Okay, and then recently published this one of the book based on strategic applications of named reactions in organic synthesis by Kurti, and the cost of this book is around 2,500, right? Many more reactions with detailed description of each and every reaction is given over there, and this book may help in studying various kinds of named reactions. See, then to understand the retrosynthetic concept, one has to learn organic synthesis, the disconnection approach by Stuart Warren, as we are studying for the 4th semester, and our university has a separate paper on retrosynthetic analysis or retrosynthesis, organic synthesis by retrosynthetic approach, and you should read after understanding all this organic chemistry. After understanding Claydon, after understanding Peter Sykes, after understanding Francis A. Carey, then only you can read such type of retrosynthetic analysis books. Organic synthesis, the disconnection approach, and organic synthesis strategy and control. Again, it was written by Paul White and Stuart Warren. Stuart Warren just passed away just 6 months before. Okay, he's a good teacher, excellent teacher, have wrote many more books of organic chemistry. Then whatever I have told some regarding E.J. Corey, this is the book, The Logic of Chemical Synthesis, written by E.J. Corey. You should read such type of books. And while reading these books, you will learn many more reagents, how total synthesis of natural products people have carried out with the help of several reagents. And finally, you may have seen those who have studied from the universities of different universities of Maharashtra or other part of country, or some of the institutions, they may have these volumes of 22 books, reagents for organic synthesis by Fischer and Fischer. Reagents for organic synthesis, whatever reagents we are studying, those reagents you will get in a single series of books, and those series of 22 volumes are there, and the cost of those 22 volumes is around 60,000 rupees. Around, I am saying 60,000. The cost maybe have increased nowadays. Okay. See, the first point, which is the important point, which I have discussed over to you regarding mastering organic chemistry. The first point is you have to read quality books. But reading the quality books is not sufficient in becoming master in organic chemistry. The second point, just we will discuss over here. This slide indicates that the students or the participants, they are listening the lecture like just like this lecture. This is a virtual. Our lecture is a virtual lecture, but if offline lecture is there, the situation may be like this way. These people, they are listening the lectures delivered by the experts in that particular subject. Means second and most important point, you have to listen the lectures delivered by the experts in the particular subject. Experts nowadays, so many YouTube videos are available made by the great teachers of chemistry. Just I want to give you one example. Some of the participants may belong to teacher community as well. They may have heard about the professor, respected Professor M.S. Wadia sir. He has made several videos and videos in YouTube, videos of pericyclic reactions, then photochemistry, then spectroscopy, then stereochemistry, because Professor M.S. Vadias is an excellent teacher of organic chemistry, excellent teacher, and he has completed more than 50 years, 2 years before of his teaching career. See, of his teaching career, he is teaching organic chemistry since 50 years before. 50 years before means till date he is continuing his teaching profession as well as a passion. Okay, that's why second point is you have to listen the lectures delivered by the quality teachers. Okay, 2 points. One is reading books. Second one is listening of the lectures delivered by the experts, experts like M.S. Vadias. Okay. Then, after reading and listening of the lectures delivered by the great personalities of that particular subject or experts in that particular subject, you have to have preparation of some notes. Preparing notes, because you have to prepare yourself the notes. Nowadays, what happens? Somebody is preparing the notes, and just we are making Xerox copy of that one. That is not a sufficient in becoming master in organic chemistry, because books are always there. Whatever subject you understand, accordingly you have to write in your notebook. Write in your notebook, make a notes, and you can read several times. Then only you can understand that particular subject. Means preparation of notes by yourself, not by others. Nowadays, if in classroom 100 students are there, one student is preparing the notes, and just other people are making the Xerox copy, because money is not a matter nowadays. Money is not a matter nowadays. If for Xerox 100 rupees required, just we are giving 100 rupees and just we are taking the Xerox. And after taking the Xerox, then just reading once when the exam is there. Yeah, see, even though I want to tell you, everyone is preparing for the examination, postgraduate examination. Everyone is not preparing for understanding of the subject. That is my one of the approach which I have observed in the last some of the years. Now, third point, preparing the notes. Okay, preparing the notes, that is also important. Am I audible properly?
Yes, 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 sir.
Okay, thank you. Just I have checked. Okay, then 3 points which we have seen, and fourth is also important, as we are the learners of organic chemistry. We have to do n number of experiments in the laboratory. N number of experiments we are doing from 11th standard to till date. From 11th standard, just what we have done in 11th standard, just we have determined the normality of given solution, or how to handle burette, pipette, like that way. And then from 12th standard or BSc, we have done separation of binary mixture, or analysis of given organic component, or preparation of some compounds by 1 step or 2 step, just we have seen. Okay, our teacher is providing procedure to us, and accordingly we are doing the experiments. Am I right? Just accordingly we are doing the experiment. But why I am adding this particular reagent, that I don't know. Just taking some compound, adding some reagent, then solvent, and just we are replacing that reaction mixture for 1 hour. After 1 hour, our sir is saying that you have to check the TLC. If TLC is there, just pour out crushed ice. If solid comes out, then filter it, dry it, crystallize it, and take the melting point and compare that melting point with the standard molecule. Okay, that type of things we are doing, and later on we are calculating the yield of that particular reaction. If the transformation is a single step transformation, then the yield. If the transformation is a multi-step transformation, then we have to calculate the yield for each and every step. And finally, we have to calculate the yield, overall yield of that particular compound. See, for example, if you want to carry out sulfonamide synthesis, sulfonylamide, in first step, which we are taking acetaldehyde on chlorosulfonation, which gives paracetamidobenzene sulfonyl chloride. That is the first step. In second step, that paracetamidobenzene sulfonyl chloride on reaction with ammonia, we are getting paracetamidobenzene sulfonamide. This is the second step, and the third step, administration of that amide group by means of acid or base we will have a sulfonylamide. This is the third step. And in these 3 steps, you have to calculate the yield of that reaction for every step, for chlorosulfonation, for sulfonylamide formation, paracetamol benzene sulfonamide, and finally sulfonylamide hydrolysis step. See, we are calculating accordingly. But why I am performing this particular experiment? Why I am adding some reagent? Even though while doing the titration or while doing the determination of normality or molarity, we are adding some reagent like phenolphthalein indicator. Why I am adding phenolphthalein? Why I am adding methyl orange indicator? Okay, several types of indicators are there. Why I am adding this type of acid catalyst? That chemistry we are not studying. As sir has told, sir has given the procedure, take 2 grams of compound, so and so, add 10 ml of solvent, add this reagent as per the calculations, and stir for 2 hours, take the TLC, check the TLC. If the reaction completes, then pour out crushed ice, crystallize it, and take the melting point. Like that way. But this practice can be done by any kind of lab assistant who has studied only 10th standard. He can do. That's why my suggestion is that you have to do experiments with some logic. Why I am performing this kind of experiments? See, that time the 4 points just I want to discuss once again. First point, reading of quality books. Second point is listening of the lectures delivered by the experts. Third one is the preparation of notes by ourselves, not by others. And fourth one, you have to do experiments with care, with understanding, proper understanding of that reaction conditions and each and everything. These 4 points just I want to highlight over here. Now, again, some of the tips I want to give you in becoming mastering in organic chemistry, because organic chemistry is a long movie. It's a long movie. In one day, we cannot become master in organic chemistry. Or in a month or in a year, one cannot become a master in organic chemistry. It requires some certain steps. That's why you have to follow some certain rules and regulations. Even though we are studying this organic chemistry from 11th standard, we are unable to give answer of 4 organic bases, 4 organic acids, 4 organic reagents, like that way. 10 named reactions, 5 named rearrangements. Okay, we are unable to give answer of these type of questions. That's why how to determine the structure of primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols by means of NMR spectroscopy, how to determine primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols by means of IR spectroscopy, how to determine this primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols by chemical methods. See, even though we are doing a number of experiments, but then also we are unable to give answer of such type of questions. That's why organic chemistry is a long movie. And see the second point, just a minute, I want to take a water. Yeah, as I told you that organic chemistry is a long movie and every character has some side story. And if you jump in between, you will feel lost. If suppose you have studied organic chemistry in first semester very well, and if you have missed in second semester, then you are unable to understand that organic chemistry in the third semester. That's why continuation is important. Even though if you are not prepared organic chemistry at 11th or 12th standard, then it will become difficult in learning or understanding organic chemistry in BSc first year as well. Similarly for post-graduation as well. If you have missed the topic alcohols, then you will not understand carbonyls, because most of the things are interrelated, because organic chemistry is a dependent chemistry. It depends on other parts of alcohols, like alkenes, alkynes, because they are interconvertible. That's why you should know the fundamentals of organic chemistry. And if you follow the plot from the start, if you have started proper preparation from first year, MSc first year, even though if suppose you have missed the chance of proper understanding of organic chemistry in BSc, and if suppose you may not have a quality books in BSc, then why not to have a start from this particular moment? If you follow some certain plot from the start, it all makes sense. You will understand organic chemistry very well. Organic chemistry is not a volatile chemistry. Just I want to quote over here, organic chemistry is not a volatile chemistry. Preparation of organic chemistry is a volatile. That's why it becomes volatile. If we have read organic chemistry like a volatile, then your subject will be volatile. That's why your preparation should be solid, then that chemistry will not be volatile. That's why preparation is volatile. That's why it becomes volatile organic chemistry. Okay, many teachers are saying that organic chemistry is a volatile chemistry, but the chemistry is not a volatile. The solvents are volatile. The reagents are volatile. That's why. Keep in mind, if you have prepared very well, you will not forget forever. Okay, this is the first point which I want to discuss over here. Then second and most important point, learn about these structures. Learn about these structures. See, if I have given some name of the compound and accordingly you have to draw the structure with the help of that particular name, and you have to follow some certain rules and regulations of given by the IUPAC. If some IUPAC name is given, accordingly you have to draw the structure, and if small structure is given, accordingly you have to draw the name of that particular compound. Okay, and if suppose I have given some molecular formula to you, accordingly you should draw the structure of that particular compound with the help of some molecular formula. But while determining the structure of that particular compound, you should know how to identify number of bonds. See over here, that is also important. Even though if suppose I have given to you C6H12, the molecular formula C6H12, accordingly you have to draw the structure. How many possible structures are there? Yes, there are many more possible structures are there. See, one of the structure is cyclohexane. For the molecular formula C6H12. That is one of the structures, cyclohexane. You may have another another structure may be there. What could be the another structure? Just you can write CH3CH, one double bond may be there. CH3CH double bond, CH2CH2CH2CH3, like that way. It may be symmetrical or it may be unsymmetrical. The double bond may be at carbon number 1 or 2 or 3, like that way. Is accordingly you have to draw the structure. That's why you should know the number of bonds. The bonds may be single bond, the bonds may be double bond, the bonds may be triple bond. Okay, that's why you should know about the structures. You should have an idea about drawing of structures from given name. Okay, then next important point related to structure. In earlier days, we used to write CS3, CS2, 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 CS3 like that way. But nowadays, some bond line diagrams we have to draw. We have to draw like that way because we have to reduce the space as well as we can reduce the time as well. Means we can save many more time as well. And if you are able to draw the structure of any organic compound, it may be phenol, it may be aldehyde, it may be ketone, it may be alcohol, acid, ester, anhydride, amide, amines, nitro, cyano, whatever it may be. If you have a structure, then you should know about the reactivity of compounds. If suppose small question I have given to you, can you write a short note on sulfuric acid? Sulfuric acid, and minimum 10 points are required, then only you will get 2 marks. 2 marks. Write short notes on sulfuric acid. Just like an instant test. Just I have given. Then what do you see? What do you write over there for sulfuric acid? Only molecular formula people will write H2SO4. Then also students are unable to have the structure of H2SO4. How many sulfur are there, how many oxygen, how many hydrogens, that we know very well. But what will be the sulfur, what is the oxidation state of sulfur, what is the basicity of that sulfuric acid in basicity of sulfuric acid over there, how it can donate the proton, that is also important. In which reaction sulfuric acid is used, that is also important. Accordingly, you have to draw. Then types of sulfuric acid, how sulfuric acid is prepared. Okay, like that way, one should know about the reactivity of compound. Not only inorganic, but organic. Alcohol, if primary alcohol is there, then you should know the reactivity of primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary, on oxidation, it gives, you will have aldehyde. And secondary, on oxidation, it will give ketone. Alcohols, on dehydration, you will get olefins. like that way. Alcohol substitution, like SNI type of substitution reaction, you will get corresponding alkyl halides. Means you will get alkyl chlorides or alkyl bromides or alkyl iodides, like that way. Means you should know the reactivity of that particular compounds. That's why I have given learn about this structure. Then next point, in becoming master in organic chemistry, build a strong foundation. Build a strong foundation, because organic chemistry is like a pyramid. Organic chemistry is like a pyramid. The top will collapse without a strong base. If your base is weak, then further study is not suitable or not useful for becoming master in organic chemistry. That's why your base should be strong. That's why I have given here, the top will collapse without a strong base. While construction of some building of 100 phases or 100 floors, your base should be strong, then only top will remain as it is. Otherwise, the whole building will collapse someday. That's why your base should be strong. Now here, I have given over here, even if you think you have no time, go back to introduction and early chapters and spend some time. If you are not prepared very well at undergraduate level, organic chemistry, or at first semester, second semester, third semester, then you go back to learn the basics of that particular subject. You have to read the books of NCERT of 11th standard or 12th standard, or you should read the book which you have used for BSc first year. Reference book, that is also important, or textbook like written by Bhal and Bhal, Organic Chemistry by Bhal and Bhal, or another book of Organic Chemistry by Solomon. They are good books for understanding organic chemistry at undergraduate level. But at undergraduate level, you should have the book of Claydon, you should have the book of Morrison Boyd, and accordingly you can prepare. That's why if you are not ready, sir. Many students, they are saying that my basic is very much weak, sir. What I have to do? Just go back, read the basic topics from any kinds of books, then only you will understand further organic chemistry. That's why you have to go back again. Then you will likely be surprised how much better you will grasp the hard material once you completely understand the easy material. It means that first of all, you have to understand the simple things, simple concepts of organic chemistry, and then only you can try for understanding the so-called hard organic chemistry, like that way. That's why usually natural product synthesis will kept at post-graduation level for MSc second year. That's why they have not kept at BSc first year or second year. Small molecules, how those small molecules can be synthesized. That's why first of all, small reagents. We have to learn small reaction, that is Aldol, Cannizzaro reaction. Then you may have studied Claisen-Schmidt reaction, Claisen-Easter condensation, Mannich, Michael addition. These reactions are simple reaction, and once you understand these simple reactions, then only you can understand some so-called tough material of that particular organic chemistry. See, just I want to quote over here one of the equation as I have given in very first slide. My first equation is R cube is equal to OS, and now here I want to give you some of the other equations, and in that equation all are capital. OC is equal to DC. OC, all are capital. OC is equal to DC. Another equation, OC is equal to TC, and third one is OC is equal to PC. OC is equal to DC, OC is equal to TC, and OC is equal to TC. 3 DC, OC, and PC. See, meantime you can think OC is equal to TC, DC, and PC. Okay, I will give answer of this question later on. Now, prepare mind maps. Prepare mind maps if you have prepared very well organic chemistry. And while studying organic chemistry, as we are studying so many reagents, and while studying that reagents, what are the properties of that reagents, where these reagents are used, and many more reagents are available. Just you should know about their oxidizing properties or reducing properties or dehydrating properties or the reactivity of the reagent. How to find out the reactivity of the reagent? If you know the structure of that reagent, then you can find out the reactivity. Whether that reagent is acidic or whether that reagent is basic, accordingly we can determine the reactivity of that particular reagent. The reagent may be organic or it may be inorganic. Okay, and make a list and remember them, because you should have a list of reagents, and accordingly you can think what kind of reagents their utility is there. Like in our mobile, we have a several contacts of 1000. Accordingly, you can make a list of reagents and what are the applications of these reagents in short. That's why my suggestion is that make a chart of specific class of compounds. Make a chart of specific class of compounds. If you have taken alcohols, then primary, secondary, tertiary. How primary alcohols are prepared? How secondary are prepared? How tertiary are prepared? Then what could be the chemical properties? Physical properties of primary, secondary, and tertiary. Then accordingly, what are the chemical properties of primary, secondary, and tertiary? How to confirm the formation of primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, tertiary alcohol by means of spectroscopy. Like that way. Like that way, you have to make a chart. What could be the IR frequency for primary, secondary, and tertiary? What could be the NMR pattern for primary, secondary, and tertiary? Carbons, protons, those protons. What could be the carbon pattern through carbon-13 NMR? Like that way, you have to think. Then, most important thing is to do by yourself. That is important. You have to do yourself. No one will do for yourself. Okay, that's why as we are taking food for ourselves, like that way you have to prepare the organic chemistry by yourself. That is my personal suggestion to all of you. Okay, now just we are switching towards some other aspects of chemistry. Don't forget acid-base reaction. Don't forget acid-base reaction. Okay, if you are studied in the 11th standard or 12th standard, acid-base reactions, some topic may be there, acid-base reactions. Okay, see, as I told you that organic chemistry is a dependent chemistry. Organic chemistry is a dependent chemistry. DC, one of the full form for DC is dependent chemistry. OC, organic chemistry. OC is equal to organic chemistry. OC is equal to dependent chemistry. If you have prepared very well 11th standard, then only you can understand 12th standard. If you have prepared 11th and 12th, then you will be able to understand first year program. That's why you should know about the fundamentals of organic chemistry. Okay. Now, more than half of organic chemistry is based around acid-base reactions. Half of organic chemistry. See, take an example of any kinds of named reactions. Any kinds of named reactions or rearrangements or reagents. See, just reactions. Carbonyl-based reactions are there. Aldol condensation, aldol condensation, then Michael addition, then marriage reaction. We have seen Revsky reaction. All are carbonyl-based reactions. And reaction of this carbonyl with this carbonyl is nothing but base. Now it acts as a base and it will attack on electrophile, some kind of electrophile. That electrophile is nothing but sometimes acids. Okay, or sometimes that base may act as a nucleophile, or that base may act as a base. That's why half of organic chemistry is based around acid-base reactions. And most important thing, one should know about the electrophile and nucleophile. Even though after completion of post-graduation, students are unable to give the exact definition of electrophile and nucleophile. Or the question may be asked in the PG level examination: can you have a list of 10 electrophiles? Can you have a list of 10 nucleophiles, different types of nucleophiles? Then students are unable to give answer of such type of logical questions, even though they are studying from 11th standard. Okay, then next important point, the Lewis concept of acid bases. Lewis acid base concept, we should know the list of Lewis acids, list of Lewis bases. That is also important thing. Not only Lewis acids and bases, but also you should know Bronsted. You should know Bronsted acids and bases, then you should know Arrhenius acids and bases. That's why these reactions, even though we have studied this particular topic in the 11th or 12th standard, ionic equilibria or ionic equilibria, that topic one should know. Then now we will discuss some another point. Focus on understanding, not on memorization. Focus on understanding, not on memorization. See, this point is too much important in organic chemistry. Why organic chemistry is volatile? It becomes volatile because you people are memorizing organic chemistry. Okay, and without understanding, just you are memorizing. That's why that organic chemistry becomes volatile. Okay, memorization is overall poor strategy. Memorization is overall poor strategy. How many things you will memorize? Because in alkanes, n number of compounds are there. In alkanes, n number of compounds are there. In aromatic system, even though if you take the example of aromatic carboxylic acid, you may have n number of aromatic carboxylic acids are there. And how will you memorize those things? That's why memorization is overall poor strategy that is resorted when the people haven't planned ahead sufficiently and how to cram the night before exam. Those who are doing memorization, in Marathi we can call it patantar. Patantar. Many more people are doing patantar of organic chemistry. Even though teachers, I have seen, even though teachers are doing the patantar of organic chemistry and how they are discussing in front of the students. Okay, that is a difficult task. That is a difficult task. Don't memorize. Just first of all, you have to understand. And if you are having habit of memorization, then one day you will get failed in front of the students as well as in the examinations. Okay, if you are prepared, suppose 50 named reactions by memorization, and in examination, if you are asked some intermediate of some of the reaction, then you are unable to give answer of that particular question. That's why understand organic chemistry very well first. Understanding how to understand that we will discuss later on. How to understand. Okay, then for certain courses requires memorization, no doubt. For certain courses, because nomenclature terms, rules and regulations, we have to memorize. Then names of the reagents, because n number of reagents are there, you have to remember those reagents. That is also important thing. And functional groups, even though I am asking small questions to our students when they have entered for first year program, just may I have a list of various functional groups, just you write in your notebook at least 10 functional groups. Then also students are unable to write minimum 10 functional groups in the notebook, even though we are studying organic chemistry from a known standard. Okay, do you understand this one? Focus on understanding, not on memorization. Now, see, if you want to become master in organic chemistry, as I have already told you that some of the points, reading, listening, then preparing notes, as well as doing experiments in the laboratory, and after having all these aspects in becoming master in organic chemistry, if you want to become master, you should have some study partner, or whatever chemistry you have learned, whatever chemistry you have prepared, just you have to discuss with your friend. Just you have to discuss with friend. Discussion chemistry is important. That's why organic chemistry is a discussion chemistry. Organic chemistry is a dependent chemistry. OC is equal to DC. Just I am talking about the meaning of DC. Discussion chemistry, the dependent chemistry, the only chemistry. Okay, see, you will be surprised at what you learn when you have to explain something to others. Okay, if you are prepared very well with understanding, then it will become easy to discuss with other peoples. And if you discuss with that other peoples, then one day it will come. You will not need any kind of books in front of you. Just accordingly, you can discuss that chemistry in front of the audience. Don't ever feel like you need to tackle organic chemistry by yourself. Don't consider by yourself, yes, I will prepare myself and I will become master in organic chemistry without discussing with others. It's not possible. I have observed that several students of our post-graduation program, they are preparing organic chemistry by themselves alone in their room, but very next day they have failed to give answer of some of the questions. That's why if you are prepared alone, no doubt, later on you have to discuss that chemistry with your friends. That is my suggestion to all of you while becoming master of organic chemistry. And the next point, getting together to do work with your colleagues is a fantastic idea. Getting together to do work with your colleagues is a fantastic idea. That's why there is one quotation given by the great philosopher Henry Ford somewhere: coming together is a beginning. See, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. And keep in mind this particular mantra of working together is a success. That's why while preparing organic chemistry, if you want to crack any kind of examination, it may be university examination, it may be competitive examination like NET, SET and GATE, or any other examination paid as well, then come together, discuss together, and you can learn organic chemistry with yourself now. Yeah, after understanding that chemistry, organic chemistry, learning organic chemistry requires problem practice. Learning organic chemistry requires problem practice, and nowadays no one is doing solving of such type of problems. Even though the book of organic chemistry written by Morrison Boyd, at the end of each and every chapter, they have given some exercise to us, but no one is doing that particular exercise. And if you want to crack such type of competitive examination, just start from this particular moment to solving such type of problems. That's why learning organic chemistry requires problem practice. And C, you should attempt questions. You should attempt questions from reference books and hit the past question papers. You should attempt questions from the reference books. Then what could be the reference books are there? Okay, whatever books you are referring for post-graduation, whether you are using reference books or textbooks, that is also important. If you are using the reference books, then whatever questions given at the end of each chapter, solve those questions. Some of the questions may be difficult. You can discuss with your teacher, you can discuss with your friend, and you will definitely get the solution for this particular question. Okay. And as well as meantime, you have to solve the past question papers. Then only and spend all the extra time you save from theory for organic chemistry into solving problems. That's why once you understand the concept in the classroom, just go at your place, at your home, or at your room, then start solving the problems based around that particular concept. Even though if suppose you have studied Ishtar-Bose-Tara fragmentation, that named reaction, if suppose you have studied in the classroom, just go at your place, at your home, start solving the problems related to that particular Ishtar-Bose-Tara fragmentation named reaction. That's why, so work with the problems, and work with the problems. This is my suggestion to all of you. That's why, in addition to 4 important points, reading quality books, listening the lectures delivered by the experts, preparation of notes by yourself, and doing experiments in the laboratory, then most important point is, after understanding any topic of organic chemistry, you have to solve the number of related problems. That's why problem solving is important in becoming master in organic chemistry. Definitely you all people will agree with this particular comments in becoming master in organic chemistry. Okay, see, you may have observed such type of picture anywhere at your place, maybe, or the person may be on the cycle or bicycle. This person is doing sharpening of knives. See, at rural places also, in Marathi we can call it dhar lavne. At our side, I don't know, at your side, चाकूला धार लावायची का म्हणत तो एखादा माणूस सायकल वरती फिरत असतो. And what he is doing over there, just he is sharpening the knives with the help of grindstone. Means grindstone sharpens knives. See, grindstone sharpens knives, problem solving sharpens minds. If you have solved a number of problems related to any topic like aldehydes, ketones, alcohols, acids, esters, then amides, or spectroscopy problems like IR, UV, NMR, C13 mass, 2D, COSY, NOSY, head core, or combined spectroscopy problems. If you have solved many more problems, like 1 lakh problems on spectroscopy, then definitely you can solve any kind of problems within a minute, within a fraction of seconds. You can solve those problems. Okay. Means grindstone sharpens knives, problem solving sharpens minds. Okay. As I think you may know this person because I have given equation over here. He is a great scientist, great philosopher, Einstein, he has given one equation to us, E is equal to mc square. What we are doing right now, if the two values are given over there, if values for m and c, then accordingly we are calculating E. Or if you want to calculate the c, if values for E and M is given, then accordingly with the help of calculator, we are calculating the values. Okay, the job has become very much easier nowadays with the help of calculator. In earlier days, we have to use, if some calculations are in point, then we have to use log tables. But due to calculator and now mobile calculator, we are not purchasing 50 rupees calculator, but we are using 10,000 rupees mobile for doing calculation. And we are using in chemical laboratory also. Okay, but my question is that how this equation has came? Have you thought about how that equation has came? This equation has not came in one day or in one night. After doing several experiments and having some proofs for those experiments, Einstein came to know that this equation, with the help of this equation, one can able to find out the values for either E, for M or C. Some constant may be there. Similarly, as we are learners of chemistry, we know Arrhenius equation is K is equal to AE raised to minus EA upon RT. And if the values are given, then accordingly we can calculate this K. Okay, not only this one equation, but Planck's relation we know very well. V is equal to H nu. If H and nu is given, then we can calculate energy. And if Planck's constant and speed of light is given and energy is given, then accordingly we can calculate the wavelength, or vice versa as well. But my question is that how these equations has came? That is most important question mark. And in physical chemistry, in physics, in mathematics, in computer science, in electronics, there may be such type of equations are there. But in organic chemistry, there is no any kind of equation, only for Hammett. But that Hammett we used to consider that is the part of physico-organic chemistry. Physico-organic chemistry. Okay. Do you know about this person? Can anyone give answer of this particular person's photograph? Can anyone is able to give answer who is this person?
Mashtekar.
Yes, Mashtekar. He is Padma Vibhushan, former Director General, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, New Delhi, as well as CSIR is one of the premier institution, that is National Chemical Laboratory, former Director, Polymer to patent, as we know how he has given fight for getting the patent of Haldi. Everyone knows how he has fought against the American regarding patent of Haldi. He is a great person, great chemical engineer, and some long back, some 5 to 6 years before, there was one Marathi scientist held at Pune. And Dr. Sudhir Gadgil is taking his interview in Marathi. That interview was in Marathi. And I think that Marathi Science Seminar was held at D.Y. Patil College. D.Y. Patil College or D.Y. Patil University. And in that interview was in Marathi, and Dr. Sudhir Gadgil was taking his interview. And so many questions he has raised, and the same interview was telecast on the one of the channel at around 8:30 or 8 p.m. in the evening, late evening. And there was a one question, because that interview was in Marathi, and the one question he has asked, now everyone can understand Marathi very well. सुधीर गाडगिळांनी माशेलकर सरांना एक प्रश्न विचारला की सर आपलं शिक्षणाबद्दलचं मत काय, आपलं शिक्षणाबद्दलचं मत काय आहे. दिस वॉज द क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड बाय दिस सुधीर गाडगिळ. And while giving answer of that particular question, Mashtekar sir has given one of the equation. Dr. Sudhir Gadgil, E is equal to F. E is equal to F. Usually we the science peoples thinks about E the people from chemistry or people from physics, they used to think about E stands for energy. E stands for energy and F stands for force. Okay, F stands for force because we have studied chemistry as well as physics. That's why we are giving answer like E is equal to F. But see, keep in mind that interview was in Marathi and the questions were asked on Shikshan, and the Shikshan word is related to E is equal to F. Means here, if you have taken proper education, your future will be bright. If you are taken proper education, your future will be bright. And this equation you will not see in any place, anywhere. But after listening that lecture, one of the person has taken the advantage of that particular equation and discussing that particular equation for many times, more than 70 to 80 times. And even though Dr. Mashelkar sir don't know whether his equation is discussing with the students of Maharashtra as well as India. Okay. And after listening that particular equation, the person is thinking about why not we have one equation for our subject as well. One equation, similar type of equation, one equation, and that equation again just to remind our first slide, R cube is equal to OS. R cube is equal to OS, as we are the learners of organic chemistry. We are the learners of organic chemistry, means we are the learners of organic synthesis. The organic synthesis may be 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, multi-step. It may be 10 step, 20 steps, as I mentioned that the total synthesis of cholesterol is of 58 steps synthesis. 58 steps synthesis, and we are studying several natural products in MSc 4th semester cholesterol, that is steroids, alkaloids, terpenoids, prostaglandins, taxols, reserpine, that type of molecules, amoxicillin, ampicillin, penicillin, these types of natural products we are studying, and their total synthesis also. Thus, multi-step synthesis may be 1 step, 2 step, like that way, means we are studying organic synthesis. And to understand organic synthesis, what are the requirement? What are the requirement? And here the equation, that person has given the equation, R cube is equal to OS. And now see, 1R or first R stands for named reactions. First R stands for named reactions. You should know n number of named reactions. Then only you can understand organic synthesis. Named reactions. And second one, named rearrangements. As the students of post-graduation, they have to learn more than 50 to 60 named rearrangement as well after before completion of their post-graduation program. Means named reactions, named rearrangements, and the third and most important thing is that related to our reagents. You should have a library of reagents. You should have a library of reagents, and those who knows reactions, rearrangements, and reagents, they will only understand organic synthesis, they will only understand organic chemistry, and they are only able to learn organic chemistry, or they are able to becoming master in organic chemistry. Okay, R cube is equal to OS, this beautiful equation I have given to you. Now I will discuss over here mastering organic chemistry, particularly synthetic organic chemistry. Synthetic organic chemistry, just I want to give highlights of this organic chemistry. You should know n number of named reactions. You should know n number of named reactions. See, while discussion, I will talk about n number of reactions. Meantime, you should take a note of those named reactions. Somewhere you can write in your notebook what are the named reactions are required for preparing for NET, SET, and GATE examinations, and why we are preparing for NET, SET, and GATE examination. That point I will tell you later out. Okay. You should have a library of named reactions as well as rearrangements, and I have already mentioned that you should know n number of reagents. Organic chemistry is nothing but dealing with n number of reagents, which can be used for functional group interconvergence. That is also important thing. Okay. Then after studying the various kinds of reagents, then you should know different types of reactions, that is substitution, addition, and elimination type of reactions, as well as free radicals. That is also important. Substitution not only from textbook, but you should read from various kinds of reference books. For substitution reactions, you should read a reference book like Jerry Marsh, Peter Sykes, Claydon, Carey, Jerry, okay, M.B. Smith's book. Such type of books you should read for understanding of substitution, different types of substitution reaction. See, don't consider that SN1, SN2, and SN9, these three small reaction, whatever you have studied for post-graduation, you read many more things related to that particular concept. That's why substitution, addition, and elimination reaction, these are the basics of organic chemistry you should know. Okay, then stereochemistry, as we are studying stereochemistry, then asymmetric synthesis, because now for NET examination, every problem is asked around chiral center or stereochemistry, what could be the stereochemistry of respective product, like that way. Then while understanding organic chemistry, you should know different types of protection and deprotection chemistry. Protection and deprotection chemistry, there is a one unit in your post-graduation program or in NET examination also, protective groups. And this one you should learn protective groups in organic synthesis. And there is a one famous book written by Watts and Green, protective groups in organic synthesis. That book is covered all types of protections for all types of functional groups. All types of functional groups. At least once you read, at least a shorter version of that book, you can read from the Carey's part. They have given how to carry out functional group protection and deprotection chemistry. Then, as I have already mentioned, that organic chemistry is nothing but functional group interconversion or functional group transformation, and that transformation can be achieved by some different types of reagents. Some of the reagents may be oxidizing agents, some of the reagents may be reducing agents, some of the dehydrating agent, that type. See, oxidation chemistry. In oxidation, again, you should know metal-based and non-metal-based oxidation. In metal-based, again, chromium-based, manganese-based, ruthenium-based, osmium-based, rhodium-based, manganese-based, etc. I am saying, because to learn oxidation in organic synthesis may require a year, and you should read specific books on oxidations of alcohols to carbonyl compounds. Oxidation of alcohols to carbonyl compounds, some specific books are also there. And if you are preparing for competitive examination, then there is a need to read such type of books. Okay, then reductions, different types of reductions are there, metal-based and non-metal-based reductions are also there, and just I have given some of the reproductive examples of reduction. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now what? Now the points which you have considered over here. Now see, why organic chemistry is easy.
Audible, sir, audible. It's very audible.
Yeah. Now organic chemistry is very much interesting. As I asked one question to means one equation I have given, OC is equal to DC, DC, capital DC. As we are the faculty, that's why we used to consider departmental committee. Departmental committee like that. It is not a departmental committee. Organic chemistry is not a departmental committee. Organic chemistry is a discussing chemistry. Organic chemistry is a dancing chemistry. Okay, organic chemistry is a dancing chemistry, because while doing the mechanism of any organic reactions, you have to play like a dance, because we have to give electrons from electron-rich species to electron-deficient species. Again, some breaking of the bonds, formation of new bonds takes place. That's why organic chemistry is a dancing chemistry. Organic chemistry is a discussion chemistry. Okay, organic chemistry is a discussion chemistry, like this way. See. Now I have given here four types of questions. See, and which type of question may you feel difficult, that we will discuss over here. See over here, benzene is converted into benzyl alcohol. Whatever it may be the problem, the reaction condition is not provided. Again, this benzyl alcohol is converted into this ether things. Okay, then this alcohol is converted into mesylate, and that mesylate is converted into again ether. Just you have to write proper reaction condition. And if this question is asked in the university examination, complete the following organic transformation or provide the suitable reaction condition for the following transformation. Okay, following transformation. Don't write in your notebook because I will provide you this presentation. Just you see in your mobile. Don't listen. Don't do only listening things. See in your mobile. See, here reagents are not provided, just we have to write the reagents. Means while carrying out some organic transformation, you should know the n number of reagent, n number of reaction condition. Okay, then second type of question. We have given benzene, we have provided some reaction conditions, formaldehyde and some acidic condition is there. What are you do with the reaction condition? While determining this particular product or intermediate, we should know the reactivity of benzene. See, just remember my one point. If you know the structure, then you should know the reactivity of all that compounds. See, this benzene, how this benzene will react with formaldehyde means you should know the reactivity of this formaldehyde, acid and benzene, and accordingly we can find out the product. Again, that intermediate on reaction with sodium hydride and oxygen and H3O positive. If you know the reactivity of whatever product we got over here, accordingly we can treat this one with epoxide and we will have some another product. Then see the product of second step over here. Then after getting this intermediate, then reaction with pyridine and methane sulfonic chloride. Again some reaction condition is there. What is the role of this pyridine? Whether it acts as a base or it acts as acid or it acts as a solvent or in some any other purpose or it acts as a substrate. Accordingly, we have to determine the reactivity of this one. Pyridine, no doubt, it is a base. It will upset the proton and it will react with methane sulfonic chloride, and accordingly, we will have product. See over here. Again, you should know the reactivity of this particular intermediate and how this intermediate will behave like with sodium ethoxide and what kind of nucleophilic substitution reaction takes place. See, to solve such type of problems, you should know electrophilic substitution reaction, then nucleophilic displacement type of reaction, again abstraction of proton and protection of this alcoholic group in terms of mesylate, and then in the last step nucleophilic substitution reaction. Means this second type of question you may have observed. Now third and most difficult question under this category. See, in many times we are asking for university examination, how will you convert this A to B? Provide all reaction conditions, and write all the intermediates with mechanism. See, this type of question is too much difficult. How benzene can be converted into this particular product? Then you have to remember all the things. And if you have studied properly retrosynthetic analysis, then only you can able to draw the multi-step synthesis over here. See, multi-step organic transformation, and here we have provided starting material. Here suggest synthesis of this particular product, then it becomes too much difficult. How to carry out synthesis of this particular molecule. Such type of questions were asked in our university examination. Am I right? University examination, and that's why university examinations are too much difficult than competitive examination, because in competitive examination answers are given over there. Just we have to find out, we have to choose correct answer with some logic, with some reactivity of the substrate. That's why competitive examinations are very much easier than university examination. Again, see, for university examination, if the qualifying marks is required 40 marks, our question paper is 100 marks question paper, and you should have a minimum 40 marks, and total question paper is of 100 marks. Along with some options are there. Maybe the question paper is of 120 or 25% weightage is there. Suppose in first question you have to solve 4 questions, then we are providing total 5 questions. Means there is a choice. Means your total question paper becomes is of 120 marks, and amongst 120 marks you have to have a 40 marks only. See, 40 marks. Then also students are unable to get 40 marks, and the question paper is of 120 marks. Similarly, In competitive examinations, see the question paper of NET exam. NET exam. How much marks we have to take? Around 100, 110. Okay. 90, 95 as per your category. As per your category, and as well as whether you have applied for lectureship or whether you have applied for JRF, accordingly the merit will be decided. Okay, then most important thing, see the question paper. If in earlier days, the C section, in the C section, there were 75 questions. There were 75 questions. Out of 75 questions, you have to attempt only 25 questions. Nowadays, the trend has been changed. The number of questions have been reduced from 75 to 65, and you have to solve 25 questions. 25 questions from that C section. See, 65 into 4. 65 into 4, and we have to solve only 25. Means there is a lot of choice, and each question have given some choice of 4 options. Multiple choice questions are there. That's why see here. Now I will tell you the equation. OC is equal to DC. Discussion chemistry, dancing chemistry. Now TC. It is not a transfer certificate or ticket collector. Organic chemistry is equal to thinking chemistry, the only chemistry. Thinking chemistry, you have to think for each and every step over here. See the transformation, just I have provided here. You have to think yourself, what kind of reagents one can use over here, what kind of reaction condition to get, what kind of substrate are there. That's why organic chemistry is a thinking chemistry. Okay, then another equation I told you that OC is equal to PC. PC is nothing but practice chemistry. Organic chemistry, when you will understand organic chemistry, if you have done practice for several times, then only you will understand organic chemistry very well. That's why OC is equal to PC, that is the practice chemistry, as well as problem solving chemistry. Problem solving chemistry. You don't consider problem is 1 plus 2 is equal to how much, not like that way. Organic chemistry is a bunch of problems, basically, bunch of problems. That's why keep in mind in solving such type of problems. Now, as our task is how to become master in organic chemistry, and that becoming master in organic chemistry through problem solving approach. Now, just for today, I will give you one question to you. See, simple question. If this question is asked in the university examination, see, how many constitutional or structural isomers exist for C6H12 that have a cyclopropyl ring in their structure? Simple question is of 12th standard. Okay, read the question carefully. Molecular formula is C6H12. How many structural isomers that have cyclopropyl ring in all these structures? If suppose in university examination, on first page, if suppose you have given answer 4, see what students they are doing like that way. On first page, answer for this question, suppose this question is 1F, question number 1, and sub question is F, and on first page if you have written 4 answer, and on the last page of your answer sheet, again you have solved some questions from first, then again 1F if you have written answer for that one. On first page if your answer is wrong, and on the last page if your answer is correct, then the teacher will think in positive way, yeah, student have written correct answer on the last page. Then he will make a tick mark. But the question, just I can modify the question. I can modify the question. How many constitutional isomers that exist for C6H12 that have a cyclopropyl ring in their structure? This is the first question. Draw all the structures of constitutional isomers. Draw all the expected structures. Then only you will get 100% marks. Then only you will get marks. Otherwise, you will get 0 marks. If your answer is wrong, then you will get 0 marks. See, If this type of question in university examination, many students will get 0 marks. Many students will get 0 marks. Okay, because the question I have modified, how many structures, how many means number you have to give, and then you have to write structures. If you are written correct number of structures, then only you will get marks. If you are written wrong number of structures, then you will get 0 marks. Okay, then see, but in competitive examination, if the options are given like this way, 3, 4, 5 and 6. If A option 3, B option 4, C option 5 and D option 6. What could be the correct answer?
4.
Yes? What could be the correct answer? Whether how many isomers are possible? 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I can expect answer from student. If some of the teacher participants are there, they can give answer of this question as well. You can unmute yourself and tell me the answer.
Hello.
Yes,
Sir, I think 4 isomers.
4 isomers. See, if you have given answer is 4 and if I am saying your answer is wrong, if I am saying your answer is wrong, then somebody will tell, sir, answer is 3. Again, I will tell 3 answer is wrong. Again, if somebody will give answer 5, then again I will say your answer is wrong. But if someone has given answer 6, then I will tell your answer is correct. But my next question, can you draw? Can you draw all those 6 isomers? See, that's why just I'm providing all those 6 isomers. See over here in your laptop, mobile or computer, all those 6 isomers where cyclopropane ring is there. In first isomer, all the 3 methyl groups on each and every carbons. Here 2 methyl groups on the same carbon, 1 methyl group is here. Here methyl group, here ethyl group. Here isopropyl group, 3 carbons. Here N-propyl group. Here ethyl group and methyl group on the same carbon. That's why these 6 structures are possible for molecular formula C6H12 having cyclopropane ring. And so far, this simplest question, no one is able to give answer of this particular question. I have raised this question for more than 70 times, even though there were participants from the teacher community, those who have qualified NET, SET, GATE examination, as well as some of the teachers, they may have received a PhD degree also. They are unable to give answer of this question because organic chemistry is a thinking chemistry. You have to think a lot. Okay, this is the first question. Then second question. Read the question carefully. How many alkenes have molecular formula? C7H12. Could you treat with H2PT to prepare methyl cyclohexane? See, first of all, you should know the structure of final product, that is methyl cyclohexane. That one should know. Then the molecular formula is given, means starting material is given, C7H12 is the molecular formula. Accordingly, you have to find out what type of alkenes after reduction gives methyl cyclohexane. See, can you have answer for this question? How many? Just how many? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
What is the answer?
Repeat question is, sir.
Uh, how many alkenes that gives methyl cyclohexane?
4.
4. Yeah, you have given correct answer.
4, sir. 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, correct, correct. Correct. And if the same question is asked for university examination, write all the 4 alkenes which could you treat with hydrogen platinum gives methyl cyclohexane. Okay, see, this question is of 2 marks only. And here, see the alkenes. Methylene cyclohexane, see double bond, exocyclic double bond is there. Then methyl and here double bond. Here at this position after reduction of this one, this one, this one, and this one. Just reduction by means of H2PT, which gives methyl cyclohexane, means a reducible product of this one, methyl cyclohexane. Okay. Okay, we'll skip this one. Now, with a simple question, we will talk about this with a simple question. This is the question of 12th standard, but many more students, they were failed in giving the answer of this particular question. When phenol is created with chloroform and NaOH, the product formed is, which product will form? Which product will form?
B.
Which product? Which product? Tell me loudly.
B, sir. Salicylaldehyde.
Salicylaldehyde, correct. Because, see, salicylaldehyde is the product. See, just a small hint I want to give over here. Small hint. No doubt you know very well Riemann-Tiemann reaction is applicable for phenol, and it gives salicylaldehyde. See, if you know the structure of benzoic acid, in benzoic acid there is no any OH group. Then we can remove this answer benzoic acid. In benzaldehyde, in product we should have OH group. In benzaldehyde there is no OH group. In salicylic acid, see, salicylic acid, carboxylic acid group is there, no doubt. It contains phenolic OH group, but carboxylic acid is there. And this chloroform and NaOH, which never gives acid. And in salicylaldehyde, it is nothing but orthohydroxy benzaldehyde, or 2-hydroxy benzaldehyde is nothing but salicylaldehyde, which is prepared by means of Riemann-Tiemann reaction. Very simple question. Okay, now can you read this question carefully? Can you read? Take some moment and give your opinion.
Sir, screen is not visible.
It's visible. Just check your internet.
No, sir. Screen.
No,
Sir,
sir.
हमको
Sir,
दिख
not
रही है, sir.
visible.
Not visible?
Screen is
No,
not
sir.
visible, sir.
Sir, screen
Sir,
is
हमको दिख रही है.
Screen is visible.
Presentation.
Whether it is visible or not?
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Visible.
visible.
No, sir. No, sir.
I don't know, but I have another computer in my cabin. The same thing I am seeing on my computer and as well as on my laptop. Everyone is facing same type of problem.
No, sir. It is
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
For some of the people, they are facing some.
Shinte sir,
Yes.
Shinte sir, screen is not visible.
Okay, but it's a visible, sir. I don't know what I have to do. Okay, can I share once again? Just wait for some time. I will share once again.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Just wait. I have to reach up to that slide. because I want to discuss that problem. Yeah. Can you able? The same problem. Yeah. Whether visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Now read the question. When phenyl magnesium bromide reacts with tertiary butanol, which of the following is formed?
Benzene B.
Benzene.
Which answer is correct answer? C. Just I want to tell you, those who have prepared Grignard reagent very well. Once they will not give wrong answer. Many times the students are giving the answer tertiary butyl methyl ether or tertiary butyl benzene or phenol because they have not prepared very well. See, any kind of Grignard reagent, I want to tell you, whatever it may be the Grignard reagent, RMGX, on reaction with any kind of alcohol, R-OH, that RMGX will abstract the proton from alcohol and formation of corresponding hydrocarbon, RH. Means here, phenyl magnesium bromide, pH MgB or pH minus is there. That pH minus will take the proton from tertiary butanol, formation of benzene ring, benzene. That's why keep in mind, this particular question was asked in the GATE examination for 2 to 3 times. The question is very simple, but many students were failed to give answer of this particular question. Okay, that's why keep in mind, any Grignard reagent on reaction with alcohol or water, formation of corresponding hydrocarbon takes place. It never gives any kind of ether or any kind of phenol. No doubt, when Grignard reagent on reaction with sodium hydroxide. Okay, see, why not phenol? When Grignard reagent on reaction with sodium hydroxide, there only formation of it will not form phenol as well. It will not form phenol. Okay, formation of phenol by different way. Okay, tertiary butyl benzene, see pH minus will treat with respective alkyl halide. Then only it will form tertiary butyl benzene. Tertiary butyl methyl ether, there is no any kind of phenyl over here. That's why A option is totally wrong, B is also wrong, D is also wrong. That's why B is the correct one. As I think you will know about this. Yeah, answer is yeah. Yeah, it will come. Just wait, yeah. See, the reaction which involves dichlorocarbon as an electrophile is
Riemann-Timmer reaction.
yeah, Riemann reaction. But if suppose I have asked a small question just by changing the question, in which reaction or the reaction which involves acyl carbocation as an electrophile, then what will be the answer?
Friedel-Crafts reaction.
Yeah, Friedel-Crafts reaction means we can change the question like this way. Small question. Now, as being the learner of post-graduation, you should have an answer of this particular question. See, the most suitable reagent for the conversion is primary alcohol to aldehyde. Read the question carefully. Yeah, PCC. Why not?
PCC.
Why not potassium carbonate?
Oxidizing.
Sir, PCC is a wild oxidizing agent, and where KMnO4 and strong oxidizing agent.
Strong.
Yeah, remaining are strong oxidizing agent. PCC is a mild oxidizing agent. It oxidizes primary alcohol to aldehyde only. Remaining reagents oxidizes primary alcohol to carboxylic acid as well. Because the reason to use potassium dichromate or potassium permanganate requires water to carry out oxidation, and more oxidation takes place leading towards the carboxylic acid. That is the reason. Okay, then skip this one. Yeah, again small question. Which of the following is used in the manufacture of bakelite? Because this question was asked in
Option D.
Option D.
correct. Because this is the question of 12th standard. Definitely phenol is treated with formaldehyde. Acid catalyzed reaction is there. That's why it requires formaldehyde and phenol. Okay. Correct. Now this question I can ask to university examination. How will you distinguish two pentanone and three pentanone to each other? Distinction between two pentanone and three pentanone. How will you distinguish? By which reagent? See, this question is asked in the university examination. Consider which of the reagent is used for distinguishing two pentanone and three pentanone chemically. Yes, you have given answers of simple questions. Now this question is difficult. This question is difficult because I have not provided any kinds of answers over there. That's why university examination is difficult than this is say NET and GATE examination.
Haloform reaction.
Yeah, correct. Haloform reaction. See, first of all, you need to have a structures of these two pentanone and three pentanone. You need the structures of two pentanone and three pentanone. Okay, I will change the question. Which spectroscopic technique can be used for the distinguishing these two compounds? Which spectroscopic?
One NMR.
Mass.
Okay. Whether IR is suitable? Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
IR is not suitable because IR never determines the position of carbonyl group. But H1 NMR as well as carbon-13 NMR can be used for distinguishing these two ketones, two pentanone and three pentanone. As well as someone has told that mass spectrometry is also used for distinguishing the position of carbonyl groups in this. Now, just we will discuss. Someone has told iodoform test, but why iodoform? Why not others? Just we can have a discussion on the reagents. See, zinc HgSCl. If you have a structure of two pentanone and three pentanone, this Clemenson reduction condition, which gives n-pentant reduction of carbonyl groups takes place. That's why this reagent cannot be used for distinguishing two pentanone and three pentanone. If you take selenium dioxide, as we know the application, see, if I am giving selenium dioxide in front of you, you should know all the applications of selenium dioxide. Where this selenium dioxide is used for the oxidation of allylic system to allylic alcohols, for the oxidation of ketones to 1,2-diketones, for dehydrogenation purpose, means from ketone to alpha beta unsaturated ketone, this selenium dioxide can be used. It's like that way. See, two pentanone and three pentanone both gets oxidized, and you will have a diketo system will be there. Diketo system will be there, and it will be difficult to determine the difference between these two ketones. Then potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid under acidic condition, both ketones will get oxidized and may form similar type of ketones. That's why these three reaction conditions are not suitable for distinguishing two pentanone and three pentanone. And last one, iodine and NaOH. See, iodine and NaOH in two pentanone and three pentanone. Two pentanone, in case alpha hydrogen can be abstracted by use of NaOH and formation of Ci3 over here, Ci3CO. But in case of three pentanone, it is a symmetrical one. Abstraction of proton takes place and iodination over here, and then nucleophilic attack of NaOH for two pentanone case, we will get iodoform directly as well as carboxylic acid. But in three pentanone, we will not get that iodoform and carboxylic acid in case of three pentanone. That's why iodine and NaOH is used for distinguishing two pentanone and three pentanone. Okay. In which of the following reactions new carbon-carbon bond is not formed? Friend, in Friedel-Crafts reaction, it may be alkylation or acylation. Reaction of benzene or any aromatic substrate on reaction with carbocation or acyl carbocation electrophile, there will be formation of alkyl benzenes or acyl benzene in case of Friedel-Crafts reaction. In second case, aldol condensation. In aldol condensation, you can take two equivalents of aldehyde, same aldehyde or different aldehys, mixed aldol type of condensation. There is a formation of beta hydroxy carbonyl compounds. Carbon-carbon bond formation reaction takes place. Then Wood's reaction, reaction of two equivalents of alkyl halide in presence of sodium metal, we will have a higher hydrocarbon, and in that case also carbon-carbon bond formation reaction takes place. But in Cannizzaro reaction, see the question, new carbon-carbon bond is not formed. New carbon-carbon bond is not formed in case of Cannizzaro. See, two equivalents of formaldehyde or two equivalents of benzaldehyde. One benzaldehyde gets converted into sodium salt of benzoic acid, and another benzaldehyde gets reduced into benzyl alcohol. See, means only functional group transformation takes place over there. One functional group gets oxidized and another molecule gets reduced. That's why there is no carbon-carbon bond formation takes place over here. See, this is the beautiful question. In which reaction there is no carbon-carbon bond is formed? Okay. Yeah, we'll not discuss regarding this IUPAC. I think we have 5 o'clock, and I think this is the last question for today's discussion. Can you read this question? The appropriate reagent for the transformation. First of all, look towards the transformation. What kind of modification takes place in the starting material as well as the product over here? See, hydroxyl group, as it is in the product, only conversion of carbonyl group to hydrocarbon takes place over here. And we have studied some reactions related to conversion of carbonyls to hydrocarbon, means reduction of carbonyls to hydrocarbon. That is not a partial reduction, complete reduction. Okay, and we know Clemmensen reduction reaction. But under this Clemmensen reduction condition, ZnHgSCl, no doubt reduction of carbonyl to hydrocarbon takes place along with the secondary OH group. Under acidic condition, dehydration may take place. That's why you need a selective reagent, selectively reduction of this carbonyls to hydrocarbon. This A answer is wrong one. Then now we will discuss D option. In D option, sodium borohydride is there. Sodium borohydride only reduces ketone to alcohol. It never reduces alcohol to hydrocarbon, sodium borohydride. Then hydrogen nickel, reduction of carbonyls to hydroxyl group takes place. Means these 3 options we can remove easily. And the last option, B option, that is hydrazine hydrate, that is the reaction condition for Wolff-Kishner reduction, which reduces carbonyl to hydrocarbon, and this hydroxyl group will remain intact under basic condition in the form of sodium salt. And after quenching the reaction, we will get this hydroxyl product over here. With this, I think we will stop for today's discussion because so many things are there. It's 5 o'clock as per the schedule of our lecture. As we are started at 3 p.m. and just we are ending at exactly at 5 p.m. The students may have so many queries about the discussion, and we'll discuss those queries either today or tomorrow. It depends upon you.